Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome back to the Simply Organized YouTube channel. If we have not yet met, my name is Samantha. I'm a certified professional organizer based in Northern California. So grateful that you are here today. This is going to be such a fun video. I have been so excited to share this one with you. I hope that you enjoy this, and I also hope you will stick around, subscribe to our channel, and join us here. I would be so honored to have you join us, so please subscribe. When people find out that I'm a professional organizer, I get a lot of questions, but one of the top questions I receive is, how do you get started and what's the process? So I wanted to talk about this today. I want to break it down a little bit for you, and we're going to talk about my own personal process that I work on with our families, and it comes down to 5 P's. So let's break this down, and let's not make getting organized anything that's complicated or stressful. So the way I see it, there's 5 P's in the process of getting organized: purge, place, pause, product, and polish. Now I could argue there's a 6th and 7th and possibly even more P's. For example, we will probably have identified that we have a problem, and then we also want to make a plan on how we are going to solve the problem. And there's a process that comes into play when we are working on decluttering and getting organized. But you know what? We're gonna keep it positive. Oh my God, there we go, Sam. There's another P. Sorry, I'm just trying to make this fun and light and not so heavy of a topic. But seriously, let's get to the first part that we're talking about, okay? We have recognized that we have a problem. You may have recognized there's something going on, there's something that is frustrating you in regards to feeling cluttered and feeling disorganized. And let me break down just a few examples of what may have brought you here. Maybe you're getting ready for a move and you want to declutter before you start packing because there's items that you don't want to bring along with you. There's things that you just don't love, need, use, or want anymore, and you want a fresh start in your new home. Maybe you've already moved and you're on the other end of a move and you're trying to figure out, where is all my stuff going to go into all these different places now that you have a new home? Maybe you're dealing with a life change. Maybe you've brought a baby into the house. Maybe your children are transitioning from one phase to the next. Maybe you're an empty nester and your children are now out of the house. Or maybe you have been disorganized your whole life and you finally just kind of want to deal with it and you want to set some new systems and habits in place for yourself. No matter where you are, there are steps to take with feeling successful in your organizing efforts. As a certified professional organizer and someone who's been doing this work for a really long time, I want to help you break down the process and really simplify it so that you can feel successful. I have so much more to share on each one of these steps and a whole lot more in the world of organizing, but I wanted to just give you kind of like a high level, general overview of the entire process that I would actually use in our organizing firm with our families. And I know this works, and I know that it's successful, because this is what we do all the time. When I say successful, I want you to keep in mind that getting organized is not something that you can simply check off a list. It's not something that it's like, okay, been there, done that, we're ready to move on. There are definite phases within getting organized where you will have tasks on your list that you can check off. So yes, that is true. What I want you to know is that getting organized is an ongoing process and one that requires maintenance. You won't simply get organized and then be completely done with it. You're going to continue living in and using your home, your spaces, your belongings. So once you've gone through these steps and we're at the end of the process, you'll have a new routine in place, and it's going to require some upkeep from time to time, but we will get to that at the end of this. So the first thing that will happen is that you're going to recognize that you have a problem and you want to change it. You need to declutter or simplify for X reason. Then you're going to make a plan on how to execute it. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, purge. Step 1, the purging process. Getting organized always begins right here. It cannot begin anywhere else. It will always begin right here in step 1, purge. In my most recent video, I shared with you guys that sometimes the simple act of decluttering may be all that you need to get organized. Decluttering and purging identifies the things that you are keeping, the things that are going to stick around, and because you have less stuff, you're going to be able to find your items much easier. So let's talk about how. How do you purge? How do you declutter? Depending on what you have going on, this could be one space that you're working with, or if you have a large scale project or something where you have a timeline, for example, going back to a move that you might have coming up, you could hire somebody like me and my firm to help you and have extra hands and some expertise. Or this is something that you might be able to handle alone. Maybe the people who live with you are willing participants in the decluttering process and they want to help out as well. But where you're going to have to start is with sorting everything out, categorizing, and then purging. Everything needs to come out. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Yes, it is going to be a total mess. This is completely normal. It's just part of the process. And just keep in mind, the end goal is it's going to be simplified and it's going to all get put away and it's going to be great. It has to be a mess because unless you're able to see everything, you're not going to be able to make decisions. You're not going to know how much content, what the volume is. Unless everything is all out for your review and consideration, you will not get to the root of the problem. You will not get to the root of how much stuff you have. You will not get to the root of the volume of each category. So everything is going to need to come out. I understand that if everything all came out at the same time, that would be incredibly overwhelming and stressful. So what I'm suggesting is that you start with one room, one category, or one closet, but do it to completion. Be honest with yourself about how much time you have to work on this project. So if you have a limited amount of time, maybe you're going to start with a drawer or two. If you have a little bit more time, maybe you can focus on your linen closet, for example. But definitely plan on your available amount of time that you truly do have to get it from start to finish so that you're not left with a mess that will not end up being completed. So for example, if we were talking about your linen closet, say you need like 2 hours or so to do the project from start to finish. Everything is going to come out. You're going to categorize and sort everything. You're going to purge out the items that you no longer want. You're going to place the items back in the closet that you are keeping. You're going to bag up any donations, any trash, and you're going to take those bags to their destination, whether that's the trunk of your car, the garbage can, donation center. So just make sure that you're keeping it within reality. How much time do you actually have to complete this project? Don't overwhelm yourself. Just start small, start at a pace that you're comfortable with, but definitely start here with purging. So when it comes to the purging process, you're probably wondering, well, how do I know what to keep and what not to keep? When you have everything out, that will become very clear. So for example, if you were working in your garage decluttering, maybe you get to a point where you see you have 4 hammers. Well, maybe it's best to keep just 2 of the 4. So take a look at all 4, which 2 are the best, which 2 have seen better days that can be donated or given to somebody else. And those are the 2 that you're gonna keep. You won't know what you have unless it's all out and then categorized into like items. And then at that point, once you have everything sorted out, you'll go category by category, figure out what you're gonna keep, what you are not gonna keep, and it's just little steps. Another example is, again, your linen closet, which I find tends to be the one spot where we could easily start a decluttering project with a family. Over the years, we collect lots of bedding, towels, things are mismatched, we're missing pieces, items have seen better days, they're worn, they're dirty. It's kind of time to move on. Once you have everything out and you categorize it, you will easily be able to purge and let go of the things because you will be seeing everything from within that closet or those categories that came out of that closet. So once again, your first step is always going to be purging. You've gone through the act of purging and you have your items categorized and you know what you're keeping. The next step is place. Now that you know what is staying, where is it going to live? Where you place your items is totally dependent on you. I would say the question to ask yourself is, where would be the first place you would go to look for that item? The answer to that question is going to be different for everyone. For me personally, as an example, I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I have a gym bag My gym bag stays in my home office. Why does it stay in my home office? Because my home office is right near the front door. This is the spot where I come to as soon as I get home or right before I leave. I know that my gym bag is here. This is the first place I'm gonna look for it, along with my work bag, wallet, keys, sunglasses. Everything stays in my office. That makes sense to me. That may not make sense to other people to keep their gym bag in the office. So it needs to be what makes sense to you. Where is the first place that you are gonna go to look for that item, and put it there. We've purged, we've set our items in place, and now we are going to pause. We are going to stop. I know, why are we gonna stop when we're in the middle of this process? Why would we pause? Because it's important to take a moment to let your items live where you have placed them, to truly ensure that is where they should stay. This is not the time in the process to run out and buy bins and containers just because you know the volume or the items that you have available to contain. This is the time to just kind of let it live for a little bit and see if it works for you. It's going to give you time to work out the kinks and the edits if you need something to move somewhere else. So you're going to want to be checking in with yourself. Is this working for me to have this item living here? Am I still having difficulty finding it? Am I still finding myself walking around the house in circles trying to locate something? Talking about your kitchen, for example, do your Ziploc bags or lunch making supplies belong in that drawer? Or do you feel like you're finding yourself preparing lunches in a different spot and you need to move those items somewhere else? That's just a small example, but you understand what I mean by pressing the pause button, letting it be, giving yourself some time to really live in the space with your items newly set in this fashion. You can take as long as you want in this process. For some, it may be very simple. You may have identified quickly where these items need to be placed and you're completely satisfied. For some, it may take you a little bit of time. Take as much time as you want. It's completely up to you. So once you're happy with the way you have placed the items, everything is working for you as you wished, then it's time to consider product and if you need it. Not everybody needs product. Not every space needs product. There's a place for it. There's a time for it. But I have found in my professional expertise, many times it's not necessarily product that's going to solve the problem. So product comes into play if you need it. If you want it, that's fine too. But is it necessary? And there is a way to bring product in that will be long lasting and sustainable. So let's talk about product next. I can already tell you right now, this P is something that I am going to talk about a lot on this channel, because product is not and will never be the answer to your organizing or decluttering dilemmas. I can promise you that. I've been doing this job long enough to know product isn't always the answer. So that should never be the first place you run to when you feel like, I need to get organized, I'm frustrated. Bringing more stuff in doesn't solve the root cause. So as you can imagine, what I just shared, I'm not a product pushing organizer. And that is one of the first things that I share with the families who hire us. Don't expect me to show up at your house with a truckload full of bins and drawer organizers and containers. It's not going to happen. The only time I will ever suggest product is if it truly is something that the space needs and we recognize it's going to make your living space more functional. For example, if you have a drawer in the kitchen where we have silverware, cooking utensils, small items that could potentially be rolling around, of course, we're gonna need drawer organizers. Your pantry, it's more of a it depends situation. We've talked about it depends in here before. It really depends on lots of different factors, including you and the type of home that you want to set up for yourself. But the bottom line is that product should only make your life easier. It should not make your life more complicated. It's supposed to help you get more organized, feel more in control, and the products that you choose certainly do not have to be expensive. There are spaces for sure where you may need to have product. For example, in kitchen drawers, bathroom drawers, maybe you want to incorporate something into your closet to help get some out of season clothing up higher while you're keeping like the current season more front and center in your closet. For investing in any product, we have to go through the previous steps. We have to know what is the volume, what are the items, what are we containing, and then we also need to let it live there for a little bit, and then we need to take measurements and then start looking for product. You won't know the answer to any of the questions in regards to product until you do all the previous steps first. If you've successfully completed that, then you will know and you'll be able to get measurements and move forward from there. Definitely recommend take measurements of your drawers, take measurements of the amount of space that you have on an upper shelf where you're going to be putting bins and containers. Grab some measurements and start looking around online and see if you're inspired by any closets you've seen, garages you've seen, pantries, kitchen drawers. Take a look around and also keep in mind, what are your habits? For example, if you don't think it is reasonable to stack lots of bins that have lids, if you don't think that's going to be easily accessible to you and maintainable, maybe you need to consider stacking drawers where you can just stack things and then easily pull drawers in and out. Keep in mind your habits so that you're setting yourself up for success and you're not creating additional obstacles in your organizing goals. Remember, this is a system that you are setting up that's supposed to make your life easier and less stressful and less complicated. You can buy your products, you can set them out beautifully, you can label them if you desire, but step 4 is product. Okay guys, we've made it to the final P in the 5 Ps of getting organized, and the final one is called polish. Now that you have your space or spaces organized, keep in mind that you're gonna have to do occasional, frequent, seasonal, whatever you would like to call it, maintenance, otherwise known as polishing. Some spaces need frequent polishing, for example, your pantry, which is something that you're touching on a daily basis, while others, like your closet or your garage, might be more seasonal. Keeping your systems and your overall setup very simple is going to help make your maintenance or polishing, less painful, less of a chore, less of a task, something that you actually enjoy doing, and it's not something that you're avoiding or putting off because you know that it's going to be complicated to polish. And if you do find yourself feeling that way, then it might be a good idea to kind of revisit your system and figure out why you're feeling that way, and maybe you need to edit it and change it altogether, which is totally fine. Purge, place, pause, product, and polish. The 5 Ps that Sam is sharing with you how to get and stay organized. Keep in mind, you guys, that getting organized is not a destination. It's something that is ongoing. It takes upkeep, it takes polishing from time to time. Why is this? Because it's life. We are meant to live in our homes and use our homes and use our items. And also we have different lifestyle changes. Maybe we have different hobbies that we have that we're in and out of. We have children who are phasing from one phase to the next. This is all normal, it's life. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you have any topics that you would like me to cover, also happy to do that for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.